Longtime viewers of the channel will know that it's no secret that I have a big rock-hard boner for torque. It's raw, primal, and just so dang sexy. What's not to love? No, seriously, tell me. I want to know who I should be blocking from the channel. So torque. There's lots of complicated and convoluted jibber-jabber out there, but what does it actually mean? Without signing you up for a physics class, I'm hoping that by the end of this video you have a much better understanding of what torque is, why it's important, and why I just can't get enough. Sure, there are veteran riders among you who are scoffing. You know the power of the mighty torque, but I have to ask, do you really? Torque is a mighty beast. She's not a beast you slay or tame though, she's a beast you bravely straddle and enjoy the ride with. She's a beast, and if you're very lucky, you can join and truly experience what the hype around motorcycles is really all about. So welcome back to the home of Jammy Pubes, Crusty Lube, Hammy, Dude, where I, your illustrious host, take you on incredible adventures, guide you through the awkward phase of being a noob, and celebrate you as you come out on the other side. Sure, we will have a few bumps in our relationship where I'll probably make fun of you and bring up that yellow portion and attempt to put me in my place, but in the end we will both grow and cheer each other on. If that's not love, then I don't know what is. It's good to see you. If you're new around here or you just haven't done it yet, take 2 seconds out of your day and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, go ahead and tap that notifications bell, or click if you're old school and actually using a computer. Do people still do that? Let me know in the comments if you're watching this on a computer. I need to know. Does the millennial in me assume that everyone watches this on some form of phone or tablet? Is an assumption if it's true? It is true. I have analytics on you guys. I know that most of you watch on mobile and are watching while you take a poop. Let's talk about something I do know and understand though, and you'll learn a little bit something new, huh? What exactly is torque, and what the hell does it look like? Imagine a teeter-totter or a seesaw, whatever you call them. Imagine one of those. On one side, your 300-pound Aunt Patty is perilously close to making sure that teeter-totter never teeters again. On the other side is a 100-pound emo kid who just wants the world to realize he's special. This unlikely pairing is a perfect visual representation for what torque is. You see, in order to balance the teeter-totter, your Aunt Patty will need to move close to the middle, while the emo kid moves as far from the middle as possible. How does balance relate to torque? Well, torque is a measure for the force that is applied on a lever multiplied with the distance to the rotation point. Think of it this way. It's how much twisting force that a machine can apply. What that means is that the emo kid and your Aunt Patty are in balance if there is the same amount of torque on both sides. But don't get it twisted. While torque does consider weight as a component, that's not what torque is. However, it is a blend of weight, gravity, and distance. Let's see what it looks like on a motorcycle though, because teeter-totters and motorcycles are pretty different. When you're on a bicycle, you push the pedal down to make it move forward. That applied force is a pretty simple way to think about torque. Depending on what gear you're in and whether you're riding up a hill or down a flat straightaway, the amount of force you need to push down the pedal is going to be different. That's kind of how torque works, and it's why motorcycles are usually classified with something called maximum torque, which is also the name of my metal band. Maximum torque is the balance where your bike is performing most efficiently. It's the beautiful relationship between RPMs, fuel efficiency, and torque. But Papa Yam, how does it work? What does any of this have to do with children's playground equipment or the pedals on a bicycle? Allow me to explain, because there's in fact a method to my madness here. Let's journey deep inside the cavernous heart of a motorcycle. The engine. You probably already know that inside the engine are pistons that move up and down. Those pistons connect to rods that are also connected to the crankshaft, ultimately forcing it to turn. That's exactly what torque is, the force applied to make something twist. So let's compare that to our bicycle, for example. The rod that connects the pistons to the crankshaft are basically the same as your leg pushing down on the pedal, and just like it does when you push down on the pedal of a bike, that force is transferred to the wheels. Starting to make sense now, huh? Torque doesn't just happen on its own though. It comes with a side of power that is unquestionably one of the first things that people learn to associate with motorcycles. Power is identified in motorcycles as horsepower. Since it's used in cars, most people have at least a basic understanding that more horsepower equals more power. For all of you squids asking out there how to pick a motorcycle, which bike is best, etc., here's why this is relevant. If you know, for instance, that you live in a mountainous area and will be riding in steep conditions, being aware of the amount of torque and power a motorcycle produces is going to be paramount in your riding experience. If you look at models online, you should be able to find the max torque, and will tell you the torque of the bike at a specific RPM as well. Multiply those babies together and you can find the amount of power that bike is going to be putting out in those types of conditions. Most times, you can find dyno graphs online that's going to provide a torque and power curve for that, so you don't even need to risk doing your own math unless you're into doing that sort of thing, which is a great segue to me talking about my economics degree, because you know numbers and stuff. So these graphs can tell you a lot about the bike you're thinking of buying or a bike you already own. They make it easy to see what kind of torque you can expect at different RPMs and where you can expect to get the most power. Here's where things get a little sticky though. Power and speed are not the same thing. They're used pretty interchangeably, but they do different things. A lot of confusion stems from the fact that power generally refers to how fast work can be done, and that sounds pretty similar to speed, right? The difference is that power of a motorcycle tells you how efficiently you will be able to accelerate to climb a hill, reach and maintain a steady speed, push back against air resistance, random friction points, etc. So power just tells you how well or how quickly a motorcycle can accomplish what you need to accomplish. It in no way determines the speed of a motorcycle, which is a simple measure of how fast the motorcycle is traveling. Torque can be delivered in a lot of different ways, and that definitely affects a bike's performance. Some bikes are set up to deliver max torque at a high RPM, and some bikes are set up to deliver max torque in a low RPM range. Both setups are beneficial, but it all depends on the type of riding you plan on doing, which is why that's always my primary piece of advice to new riders who ask how they should choose a new motorcycle. The first step is to think about the type of riding you'll be doing and to figure it out from there, which bikes produce power in a way that benefits your riding style. But to be honest, it's difficult to think about the type of riding you're going to be doing if you've never ridden a motorcycle before, so I'll forgive you for picking a bike and maybe figuring out that you want to do something else later down the road. It's not that important. For everyday commuting and average riding, a torque/power curve that's pretty broad and has plenty of flat torque curve is going to be ideal, but you can't make a decision based on charts alone. You'll still need to get out there and test ride anything you're seriously considering buying. Understanding the differences between torque and power are just helpful in filtering the amount of bikes available and simplifying the process a little bit. The elephant in the room in this discussion is gearing, and we'll do a quick rundown on that, because there's several moving parts required to get power down to the rear wheel, and the most important ones are the two gears on your bike, the front sprocket and the rear sprocket. Understanding the ratio between these sprockets and what it means in terms of power and torque is critical. There's also the individual ratios between each of the gears in your gearbox, but for this video, let's assume you can't adjust those. With normal sprockets, some riders find that the gearing is too long. Example, first gear ends at 90 miles per hour on R1. Seriously. So what can you do? You can change the size of your sprockets. By altering the ratio between your sprockets, you drastically affect the power output of your motorcycle and the characteristics of that power output. Think of it this way. If you want the wheel to spin faster, aka produce more power, you'd have to either make your engine produce more power output or change the amount of torque applied to the rear wheel. By changing the sprockets, you are literally increasing or decreasing the amount of torque being applied to that rear wheel. Now, gearing is a much more complicated subject, and I encourage you to do some research about it, but that's all I'm going to be covering in this video. There's a reason why I champion torque so much for both street riding, track duty, and even those off-road boys, and they all know about it. It's because it's what makes riding fun. The feeling of instant feedback and twisting a throttle and getting your engine to output that wonderful twisting force is what makes bikes fun. Hell, it's why people who have ridden electric bikes swear by their fun factor, because that torque is immediate, and it's why I think our future is bright when it comes to vehicles. On a street bike, something like an FZ09 with its pokey and gurgling 3-cylinder mill producing loads of power down low will be way more fun than a strung out R6 that needs to be revved and revved to be enjoyed. And there's a reason there's that old saying, horsepower sells motorcycles, but torque wins races. Driving out of a corner in the mid-range and revs with a blast of torque will help you pass who you need to pass. And it's why BMW's new S1000RR utilizes that fancy shift cam technology to produce more torque down low while keeping those revs singing, because it's better for racing and for riding around on the street. Now, that's going to do it for today's lesson, baby yams. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if not, that you've at least learned something that will help you make better purchasing decisions in the future. If this was something you enjoyed, let me know in the comment section below. I always take you guys into consideration when deciding which series to keep and which ones to throw out. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know. All this talk about torque and power is a great reminder to check out our sweet Turbo Busa merch. It's classy AF, and it's a great conversation starter. Unless someone comes at you with that, hey man, I've got a Turbo Busa myself, that thing's fast, then you'll know that person is the lowest form of motorcycle cat out there, the pretender. No one wants to hang out with that guy. Don't be that guy. And you guys already know this video wouldn't be complete without me mentioning our Patreon. It started out as our beginner bike giveaway, and we still do that. We've got the KTM RC390 up for grabs, but really it's grown to be one of the best communities for motorcyclists on the internet. Imagine a safe place where you can come learn about bikes, ask questions, see exclusive content, and hang out with me. That's what our Discord server is. It's a chat room you can access on desktop or mobile, and it works like Slack or TeamSpeak. Join over 615 members who have signed up. We've got channels specifically for new riders, bike purchases, memes, and more. Oh yeah, you will get additional chances to win the bike, and you're automatically entered to win for free. You'll get access to live streams, polls to help us decide what to do to the bikes, and more. We also do weekly $100 Revzilla gift card drawings for our members. Watch our weekly It Came From Craigslist videos to see how those work. So join us in creating the best exclusive motorcycle community on the internet. Hit the link below or go to patreon.com/YammieNoob to get started. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. See you later. Fact: cats spend 70% of their lives sleeping. Those lucky, lucky bastards. Goodbye.